All right. Well, hello. Has everybody been accepted in? Welcome back to another episode of Launchpad TV. Give us a thumbs up in the chat room if things are working okay, if you can hear us, see us. We've got some new things. There we go.
All right.
Thank you, Kanud. Got some exciting things we want to cover today. My name's Chris Schultz.
We're already off script. I was going to intro. He's doing the intro. Go ahead.
Go for it.
You're Chris Schultz, and I'm Ann Driscoll, and this is
Launchpad TV.
Welcome back. So thank you guys. This is our third episode since we left you on Tuesday. Lots continues. No end in sight to where we're at. One of the things we wanted to talk about was finally, thank goodness, some of these states are getting their acts in gear. We had a conversation with my mother-in-law the other day, Chris's mother, and she was saying something around North Carolina and how they're trying to be proactive. And we were like, no, they're not, because if you're not sheltering in place right now, your state is not being proactive enough. And so we're glad to see people following the trend here in California. And we're spending a lot of time, I will admit that most of my online reading and screen time is obsessively clicking on the, are we flattening the curve yet here in California? And it potentially looks like it, but time will tell, and there's not enough data in there. But needless to say, I am clicking that button. But we thought maybe we would share one thing with you guys that we've been reading that I thought was pretty cool and I think has been good context for us and helpful for us and how we kind of are thinking about today, and maybe it might be useful for you guys as we get on to the rest of the show. But check it out if you want to Google Harvard Business Review and an article called That Uncomfortable Feeling You're Feeling is Grief. And I think just, letting it sit there for a second, which is, I think it's a really cool article because it talks a little bit about grief and the stages of grief and the anger and the fear and the anxiety and all of those things that are happening. And I thought it was pretty interesting. And I think it's something that we've been talking about and thinking about, and even grief for like the normal day-to-day activities that we're used to having and the normal freedoms that we have. And so I encourage you, as you're meditating on the current state of affairs, to kind of put that into context.
It was interesting when you mentioned that to me, because I think that I'm feeling anxiety, and I guess anxiety is part of it, but it's also like a little, I don't know, depression and sadness and frustration and anger, all of which are sort of stages of grief. But literally, people are sick. People we know through others are sick. People's parents, reading about grandparents. It's truly a horrific situation right now that we're all going through. So I think labeling it as grief and sort of understanding how to process it actually was helpful when you
it's one tool.
Identified that.
I think the reality is that collectively we have anxiety as a country, as a nation, as a world, and anxiety is about not being able to control our outcomes. And I think also, interestingly enough, there's been a lot of folks out there talking about hotlines and things like that. Sometimes everybody's facing these challenges in a very personal way, right? And someone's issue of, homeschooling their kids might be the biggest issue they're facing. Other people are facing losing their jobs, losing their businesses. There's no sort of, we're all in it, and we all process it differently. Mm-hmm. And mental health is going to be such a hard thing. And so I think, one of the things we're looking at for Launchpad TV is that we really believe in connecting with others and connecting with each other. So that's why we're doing it. And that's why we're putting ourselves out there and we're thinking about it. But we also have a great show today. Do you want to introduce both who's going to be on the show and the poll that we have before we get to the exciting segment?
Yeah, let's. We're gonna bring Charlie and Aimee onto in a minute here as a panelist, and they run Moxey, which is a great company and marketplace, and something that might actually be particularly handy during times like this when we are all on cash crunches.
It's also a word I like to use to describe myself.
You have Moxey.
She has Moxey.
She has Moxey. Let's launch today's poll and see how everybody's doing. This one is more of a fun poll. Let's launch this. And while people are voting, we also are going to try to make it as interactive as possible. So we're encouraging the chat or Q&A if there's any questions that you want us to touch on either today or you have for Moxey. Please use the Q&A component of Zoom, and we'll see how people are doing. And did you have something else you want to run through?
Yeah, so we're going to do something today. One of my fun things that I watched yesterday was an Instagram live, I think, or something along those lines with J-Lo and A-Rod. And as Chris and I are the J-Lo and A-Rod of co-working, I mean, obviously, we thought we would do the same thing.
A-Rod's fat now, so I guess, does that qualify?
There you go. Oh, God. I mean, people do often refer to me as J-Lo. Yeah. So nonetheless, we are, everyone can close their eyes and imagine. But basically, we're going to do the same quiz that they did yesterday. That's basically kind of like what I would call like the newlywed meets COVID quiz. And so we're going to follow the rules, okay, right? Which is we have to close our eyes. Okay. And then answer the questions by pointing. You're going to point at yourself or at me, depending on who the answer to the question is. And we don't know what the answer is going to be, okay?
I got it.
But it'll be on screen, so everyone will be able to see it.
Okay.
Okay? Cool. All right, I'm going to press play. It's 46 seconds, guys, so this is not going to be that painful. It might be embarrassing. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Okay, who initiated the
Turn it up.
Kiss? Who apologizes first after a fight? Who is the funny one? Who is more romantic? Who is the most patient? Who's the better cook? Who said I love you first? Who takes longer to get ready in the morning? Who is grumpier in the morning? Who's more stubborn? Who's the bigger baby when sick?
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. All right. I have no idea. I guess we'll have to watch the recap of it on YouTube to see what any of the answers were. But that was fun.
In general, just asking the audience, did we tend to agree or disagree?
50-50.
Was anyone surprised?
That's pretty funny.
All right. Well, that's fun, and maybe we'll do it with someone else who's there. So let's get to the poll. We got some good responses. A lot better response on this poll. People are, I think, in the middle of wanting to have a little bit of a break. So what's your work from home look? Chris, what's your work from home look?
I like the idea of wearing PJs, but no, not going to do that.
No. I like the fact that, okay, so we've got 31% are biz casual.
I do think anybody coming to conference calls and Zoom calls these days and like oh, my internet connection's not working from home. I better go on.
Yeah.
I better go on no video.
They're working out while doing the video.
I've definitely done that before. Can't hear you. I'm losing you. I'm losing you.
All right. Well, for the most part, biz on the top, party on the bottom seems to be what's winning. How long do you expect shelter at home lockdown to last? Done by Easter. Wow.
Let's hope, but
Donald Trump supporters out there getting excited
I
about
like
getting the economy back by Easter. You know that's in 2 weeks.
Nobody thinks it's going to be more than 3 months. Thank God.
Thank God.
Hopefully not.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. How are you maintaining your sanity? Wow. Lots of options. Winner, chicken dinner, exercise. I will say it's a lot easier.
Nobody's ignoring their kids, at least.
Maybe you should be. I think it is a lot easier to sort of find out that, like, it's hard to find a little bit of time to be able to work out. You can work out instead of doing your commute. That's one of the updates. All right. Other winners, working more. Hopefully that's our team. That's right. You guys should be working more. Netflix and chill. We have not even gotten to do any watching of TV, mostly because our internet sucks. So there you go. We've been cooking every night and eating. I'm grateful to the dispensaries being still an essential resource here in California. It's legal. So that's what we're doing. Drinking seems to be another trend. I don't see anyone saying drinking less, that's for sure. And music is another big one. And I gotta say, music is my life right now. We are having so much fun, listening to great songs on the vinyl collection, but also really engaging with those online DJs.
Is anybody, Ariel just put
curating? Yeah.
D Nice. We were hanging out with D Nice over the weekend. If anybody hasn't checked him out on Instagram, it's pretty amazing. Hosting from his living room or his kitchen, 100,000 people, Michelle Obama, all these celebrities coming in. Questlove has been
that was
on there.
Awesome.
Questlove.
It was exactly what you needed on Sunday night.
Yeah. So if anybody else has other Instagram or music or sort of live stream things that are going on and wants to put it in the chat, please do. We'll check it out. I was sort of
thinking. A cool one coming up this weekend that you were talking about?
Well, there's one out of New Orleans that Travis and who I don't know who else, but are working on, called Sofa King Fest. Say it really fast.
I can't. It has to do with you're on the sofa, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but anybody
so
has.
Fucking fast? Is that? Oh my God!
All right, gotcha. If there's other things that you guys are doing or entertaining yourself, because frankly, I'm struggling with refreshing my newspaper, my New York Times, my Twitter, and back to that anxiety or grief. I would love to be reading a book. I've tried to pick up a book a couple times, or learning a new habit on the poll here. I don't have the mental capacity. I don't know if anybody else is feeling the same way, but this is feeling sort of overwhelming right now. And it just doesn't feel, it's hard to relax, right? It's hard to wind down or think about anything else. So I know it's not healthy from a digital habit perspective to go to sleep looking at the New York Times and wake up and looking at the New York Times and worrying about what Trump is doing or the government's doing with the stimulus package or how many cases. I also think one of the things that's causing this anxiety is, like, this is the first time we've had anything where the stats are being updated in real time, right? We're seeing all these charts. You were talking about flattening the curve. Like you have so much data right now, and it's coming at you.
Oh, and it's brutal.
Yeah. So anyway.
Also, I think there's something interesting about being online, where this is probably just the ability to put so much personal out there that even just like, if you read the articles about sickness and all that kind of stuff, this is the first time ever that, you know, we're all going through something at this level where we also all have an individualized broadcast mechanism. So even if you think about like the SARS pandemic, it's not like broadcast existed then. I mean, our lifetime is so short, right? And if you think about it, SARS was, well, it was between, I can't remember the exact date, so I'm not going to say it, but it was before 2005. And like, guys, we didn't even have, like, Facebook was barely a thing. We didn't have Google Docs at that time, if you can believe that. So certainly there wasn't the notion of this powerful smart computer to broadcast. And so I think it's really interesting to see how that plays into our psyche. And it's scary and frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Hard. Anyway.
You know, we're here in California. We've got our team all over the country, and a lot of people are thank you for watching right now to our team. I just want to sort of, you know, make sure that we say that our hearts are going out to New Orleans and New York, and, you know, some of the places that are really experiencing this right now. There's clearly a different, you know, sort of response in different parts of the country, but also different, you know, sort of level of, if we're feeling anxiety, I can't imagine what people in other places are feeling as you see, you know, the growth of this and the spread of this. So, you know, wherever you are, we're thinking about you. I feel like we're focused a little bit personally right now, but I want to just touch on, you know, the business side of it too, which is sort of, you know, some of the things we're focused on right now. We're not going to go through the whole resource list today. We might do that on a regular basis, but we will keep that published. But the good news is that the SBA bill is making its way through Congress and was passed last night. I don't know, you know, just making it through doesn't mean it's cash in people's hands. I honestly am worried about the administration of this. We were trying to apply for our SBA loan yesterday all day, and the SBA website was down all day, which makes sense, but is there's a new process up today that we're kind of working through right now.
So we had to start all over again.
Yeah, but if anybody's, you know, working through that or you know, in process with that, it still is a highly recommended resource for businesses, for, you know, Launchpad member companies, for non-Launchpad member companies. I think it's kind of the best we've got right now, and we'll keep everybody updated as we continue to work through that.
Yeah, and I think one of the plans for next week is we're likely going to bring in some experts on it to provide some perspective on what it all means in layman's terms and answer any particular questions and think like that. So stay tuned, and we'll announce who those folks are as soon as we got that finalized. But we have people who are interested and ready to stand up and support us during that.
Yeah.
And support our community, and so we'll promote that. All right, shall we get to our first guest. So while you are doing that, I will intro this next segment. So we are speaking with Charlie and Aimee from Moxey, and they are Launchpad members, and they work with businesses across the South and the Gulf Coast Right now, they actually work with 997 businesses in the greater New Orleans area and 198 in the greater Memphis area. Woo, 2 launchpad cities. As a member of the Moxey network, you can purchase not only physical goods like plants and artwork, but you can also use things like what they call Moxey dollars, that Charlie's going to tell us all about, for goods and services to save your cash for other needs. So they've got a lot of things they're going to talk about. It's a creative platform for you to think about, especially in these times when we're cash strapped, to be able to get connected with others. We used Moxey in New Orleans when we did the refresh on the space. And we actually used Moxey in a way because we gave our team a really tight budget. And so they had to get very creative with it. And so they used Moxey to be able to buy the plants and items that we put into the space. And so that was like a really cool, creative solution that our team came up using the platform. And we're just delighted to have you guys on. We have been obviously big supporters and cheerleaders of what you're doing. But now more than ever, you know, I think we're interested in hearing from you, telling us a little bit about Moxey, but also maybe about how folks can take advantage of this now. And in general, how are you guys doing during this crazy COVID crisis time?
Wow. Well, thanks, guys. Chris and Ann, it's great to catch up with you guys. You know, I've been on so many Zoom calls and conference calls the last week or so, and I keep finding myself saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" You know, because you're so trained to ask that question, yet it's so difficult to answer. You know, I'd like to say, you know, all things considered, you know, we're doing really, really well. But all things considered is quite a lot. You know, this is a terrible situation for our city, our country, our world, but lots of blessings as well. So one example, you know, my wife and I hosted a seminar on how to homeschool for over 100 entrepreneurs from around the world, you know. So it's just really neat to see that sort of stuff, you know, come together. Our family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, my kids got together for a few group Zoom calls. You know, it's hard because everybody's trying to talk at the same time, and the kids are constantly changing their fancy backgrounds behind you, you know. But, you know, society's finding a way to, you know, to figure it out. You know, we're all working from home, staying 6 feet away from each other, and incredibly bad, awful, trying circumstances. But sometimes you see, you know, a lot of good come from a lot of people. Aimee's been spearheading this project called Front Porch Photographs, where she and photographers have been going around the communities and for free capturing family photos of people on the front porch of their house.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's been incredible. In fact, Aimee, you want to say a word or two about it? I think there was actually a TV newscast about it last night here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, we just, hey guys, sorry for not getting my video figured out. I thought it was figured out, but I couldn't see myself. But anyway, yeah, we actually, kind of how this all happened is Moxey, we're all about business owners helping business owners. And when all this stuff started happening, we just as a team got together and tried to figure out what we could do to help people. So I started a business page for Baton Rouge that then exploded into other business pages of inviting business owners to collaborate with each other and to start talking about like what they're going through. And I got a post about some photographer up actually in the East Coast, I think actually around Boston, who was doing a project like this. So I called a photographer here in Baton Rouge. I'm like, hey, listen, let's do this. And the deal is keeping all of the social distancing things kind of like in mind and in place to keep everyone safe, is that we reached out to a couple of people on Saturday to do some pictures, and we had 10 people to do on Saturday. And then by the nighttime, we had 96 different inquiries. By Tuesday, we had 300 inquiries. Last night we were on the news, and then today we're now in 3 different cities. And it's not like there's other people doing this and other people catching on. I got really lucky reaching out to the right person, with the right team, and we've spearheaded a way to make this be something that's manageable, that we can shoot anywhere from like 30 to 50 families in one day. Like, we have it down to a science. And we're constantly checking in with doctors and other resources to make sure that we're maintaining all of the social distancing practices. And then also obviously abiding by whatever the rules are in each individual cities in regards to the stay in place ordinances that are out there. But it's been incredible. So the deal is that we go out, we take pictures, and then that business owner gives back to the local business community, because that's what our passion is taking care of the local business owners. And they go and call and they buy a gift certificate for a local business owner of their choice. We post in our Facebook group. We've got one in Baton Rouge called the Front Porch Project BR. And we have one in New Orleans also, one in Nashville that's building. And we're basically providing everybody the tools so they can go and like create this on their own. And the awesome thing about it is that then everybody is getting connected. We're recording something that's just really monumental in our world's history, just capturing what life looks like from our front porch steps. And at the same time, then families are feeling great about the camaraderie of like looking at each other while they're getting their pictures taken across the street, and collaborating with each other to kind of be all ready to do it in a big, huge row. So it's kind of like one big block party, but from your front porch. And then even better, they just feel great about helping out the small business owners that have touched their lives and take care of them through this time. So it's just really like a win-win-win, all about giving in our communities.
Very, very cool. Thank you.
That's amazing. And so where, can you just share, and Ariel, you could put it in the chat. Is there a way to, is it on the Facebook group that you mentioned? Where can people go to either participate or see the photos? I'm curious to see, how they're.
If they just go to our Facebook group, the Front Porch Project BR, that will give all of the information about pictures. If you're interested in actually starting something like this in your city, we'll give you all of the tools, especially for photographers and also for people who are great at coordinating. I mean, this really is kind of like there's a big amount of coordination that's involved. And so if you go to moxeyusa.com, you go to our blog, the very first blog post that's there is about all the resources that a photographer can basically take this project on. And then there's a link down there to get a hold of me. And what I do is I do an initial consultation with them to kind of let them know all the things that they need to know to prepare them for when this blows up. So it's like really about setting them up to be successful, to make sure that they've got the people in place to be successful, because this is just a lovely project and everybody just wants to be helpful and do something great. So it'll easily just take off. We're literally sitting here, is it today, Thursday? And our project is humongous, and we just started Saturday. So it easily could take off. So we want to make sure that other photographers, they're set up with everything that they need to just kind of like start a page, do this, do that, all be in line together, so then we can create this as a big project together. And then it just makes it as seamless and easy for them as possible.
Very cool.
Awesome.
I love that. I love, especially during these times, there's always these great creative ideas that pop up, and then these movements that can happen from that. And that's, one of the benefits of being part of a network of folks and connecting. And part of the reason why we're doing this is for distribution of these ideas.
Yeah.
Because if we only are on conference calls talking about, the next steps of our business, then we're really not kind of taking a moment to expand our brain. So Charlie, what do you got for us?
Yeah, that's just a small part of what we're doing. Moxey's now in 16 cities. And so there's over 4,000 small business owners who are participating in our system. And so the first thing, we started doing was helping them and also help their employees. And so cash is king right now and incredibly tight. And so we're seeing a lot of interest in small business owners learning about how they can barter to save their cash. In essence, that's what Moxey does, as you guys know, right?
Think my landlord will take it?
What's that?
Think my landlord will take it?
We
We
do.
joke about that now, but we have a number of really high-end apartment complexes in Baton Rouge and New Orleans that accept Moxey for 100% of your rent.
Woo!
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yeah, really beautiful places. And in the 1930s, during the Great Depression, and the 1970s, at the height of stagflation, there were hundreds of barter networks set up around the country, not just by private individuals, but also by city and local governments. And so, historically, this is a tool that's incredibly powerful for everybody, not just big businesses, but mostly for small businesses, because people still want to buy things. They still want to go to work. But if your cash is tight, this is the best way to do it.
Yeah,
in the early
I can
90s, in
imagine.
fact, Pepsi bartered billions of dollars worth of soda concentrate for Soviet warships and vodka, in a multi-billion-dollar deal. And so it doesn't get a lot of press anymore. But our modern technology that Moxey has really helps barter happen at a whole different level.
That's amazing. Yeah, and obviously we've known each other for a long time and had a chance to talk about Moxey before. But for anybody who's sort of new to it, if cash is tight, and if you're trying to get on the platform or want to get on the platform, can you talk to us a little bit about the process and just talk about what I guess obviously coming with and prepared with something that you're willing to give or do, right, is one part of it, and then you can earn Moxey and then be able to spend it, right?
Absolutely. So, signing up is very simple. Just go to moxeyusa.com. And I think there's a link already. If not, we're adding it into the chat box. So go to moxeyusa.com. Having a Moxey account is a lot like opening up a new checking account at a new bank. It's even as simple as going to QuickBooks and having a new account there. And a business can do it. A person can do it. What happens is you keep doing the thing that you do, whether you're selling apples or you're a doctor or you're a lawyer or you're a landlord or a restaurant owner. Whatever it is that you do, you keep selling your exact same products and services for the same prices, and you allow people to come to you and pay with Moxey dollars instead of traditional money. And what that means is you increase the customers you're going to get, and you increase the sales because it gives you an instant competitive advantage. So that's the side that brings you the revenue. On the side that saves you the money is we give most businesses an interest-free line of credit, meaning they can go out there and spend their Moxey dollars before they earn it. And so, a new restaurant that joins or a new lawyer or CPA, we'll give them a sizable line of credit that they can use to go out and buy things they need for their company. Right now, one of the fastest growing processes we have are a lot of these small business owners are giving gift cards to their employees. They tend to load them with anything from $50 to $250, depending upon how many employees they have and the size of the business. And they're giving that to their employees to buy whatever they need, in the Moxey network. And that's a way, it's a powerful way right this second that these business owners can help their employees without tapping into their cash, which is so critical to stay afloat, over the next 60 to 90 days, depending on how the economy goes.
Right. So we could add, Moxey, and I know we've done this before, so we could add, the ability to pay for, Launchpad memberships or put, sort of our, on the platform. You would extend us credit before that actually is spent, and then we would have, those credits to issue to employees or members or, whomever, as a card that they can then spend on the platform.
Yeah, exactly. And we commonly use traditional credit cards, traditional swipe cards for the process, but we also have an app. And so you can pay with Moxey without ever touching anybody else's PIN machine. You can just push money through, like you would with Venmo or any kind of app. And so, you guys do this in New Orleans a really good job, but in Memphis, probably within walking distance of your office is a number of restaurants probably doing delivery on Moxey dollars,
Okay.
And so you and Ann could sit there in your office. I guess you're probably by yourself, and it's a great way to help support some of these local restaurants right now.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
That's great.
Yeah. We'd love to see if this might be something that your network could really help with. We're getting lots of calls from people who want to start Moxey networks in their cities, and that's very possible. We just need a small core number of businesses or one really plugged in leader to get the ball rolling, and we can provide all the infrastructure digitally, fairly easily.
Okay, good. Well, if any of our members in Newark or Memphis or Nashville or Stockton are watching right now, or community managers, why don't we follow up with that and see if we can work together. Charlie, you and I were tweeting last week, I guess it was, about this is the time to sort of bring communities together, right? We have the Launchpad community. You've got a strong community with Moxey. The more we can bridge those communities, both helping to support each other's businesses, but more importantly, helping to support the businesses, within our networks, by bridging those communities. So I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So would I. Yeah, and there's a lot of pain in the world right now, but there's also a lot of love rising to face it. So it's terrible, but also incredible, all at the same time.
Yeah. Great. So I think we've shared, and we will when we post the video, but we'll share all those access points. Anyone in the audience have any questions for our guest, Moxey?
Questions are coming through.
We don't have a lot of questions yet, guys.
More chat in the chat room than questions, but maybe next week we'll get some questions. Next week
we'll maybe get some questions. Thank you for being an early guest of ours. As we get some steam on this program, we'll have you come back again and share the latest on Moxey and what's happening. And maybe we'll even be able to, from this show, spawn some ideas and some new networks.
Yeah,
that'd be great. We love it. You guys have been, a really important part of our growth. You might not even realize how much, but Chris's network and my network have overlapped. Man, I think maybe for 10 or 15 years. I can't even remember when we first met. So,
I know.
I love, bumping you guys at different events and participating in all the incredible stuff y'all have done over the years. So I really appreciate it. And, we look forward to together more.
That's one of our core values, Charlie. We go long. Very long.
All right. Well, Charlie and Aimee, we're going to let you guys go. But thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
And excited about the Front Porch Project, excited about the opportunities that Moxey brings to help support the small businesses that obviously are in our communities and we all care about. So thanks for doing what you're doing, and thanks for joining us today on Launchpad TV.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Bye, guys.
All right. Well, as we wrap up today, I know that Ariel, our fantastic show producer, is also working with our team on getting out some more programs. So don't worry, it won't just be Chris and Ann all the time on the show. There's some really exciting programs that are coming up. A lot of them are going to be locally focused. So
I see Brittany in the audience. Brittany, I know
Brittany
you're running the show. Who else?
Jonah.
Jonah's going to be running the show.
I thought Andrea's got a plan.
I'm sure Maddie's got something cooking.
It's happening, guys. It is happening. So join in on all the shows, but of course, make ours your priority. We can't get shown up by our team, can we?
Hey, I don't mind if they're better than us. If they're good, they're good.
You're right. I guess I'm the one with the ego. But he is definitely the stubborn one. So with that, have a great, what was your wellness routine of the week? Have you done anything to help with wellness? That's what we're going to talk about today. It's Wellness Thursday. Chris, do you have any inspo for the audience?
Well, I have not been meditating, which we talked about. We would like to be. I am trying to drink a lot of water, and with all of the gyms closed, who knows if your neighborhood gym is closed, but ours is closed. The app that I'm enjoying and have been since about Christmas time is something called Aptiv. And I'll put it in the chat, but it has home gym, body weight exercise. It has running things. It has
so enthusiastic
to be outdoors. So if you're looking for a wellness thing, that would be my recommendation.
That's your reco today?
Yeah, Aptiv.
Sweet. Sounds
How about
good. Well, I've been going to the Daily Method, which is I think it's a California-based chain or bar, and my studio has offered Facebook Live. So all of the instructors are doing Facebook Live classes.
You guys aren't all just zooming in?
No, we don't zoom in, but we use Facebook Live. So it's a private group, and then you can watch the videos afterwards. And so that's pretty good, except for it's super annoying because Hazel, who's our little brown dog, most of you know, Hazel's obsessed with coming in the middle of it and having me throw the balls. So anyway, that's my wellness routine these days, and we try to make it happen. But it's even, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Well,
but they have gold stars, so you have a little sheet, and then you put your star on, and then you can see who else in the gym is also doing it. And I have 5 gold stars, and that is pretty good for me.
Well, on that note, stay well, stay healthy. Hope everybody is sheltering in place and doing your best to stay healthy. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back next week, Tuesday and Thursday, same time, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. I think we are going to have some folks on next week to help us
Experts.
understand exactly what's going on with the SBA loans, how to get the most out of them, how to get them quickly. We're learning a lot about it, and we'll continue to share. So looking forward to that.
If you've got any questions or things you want to cover or ideas for segments, hosts,
or you want to be on,
we are open. Ariel@lp.co.
Okay. All right. Thanks for being with us today. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Insane.